continue with the fourth presenter, which Ashikin's group that will be presenting on management control for decentralized organizations.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning to everyone, to fellow students. Okay, boleh start?
Okay, my name is Nurul Ashikin binti Jamaluddin.
And my name is Daniel. Today we're going to present about...
Our topic is regarding the management control for decentralization organizations. Next.
Okay, the three
next.
Okay, there are three articles that we want to present today, and we also compare between the three articles. Next.
Okay, the objective of this project is help by searching the current issue and writing a short reviews that of the public research regarding the article that we already choose. Somehow it helps us to understand more regarding the topic that we have chosen, which is management control for decentralization. Okay, our first topic by Bachelor S 2015, which is impacts of decentralization decision making on firm performance by Arabian Journal of Business and Management Review. Okay,
Okay, this is the introduction of the first article. So we need to know the importance and the relationship between decentralization and the company's performance. So we're talking about relationship. So if top companies decentralize their powers, their responsibilities to the local subordinates, to the lower companies, is it their performance increases or decreases? So we're talking about if we decentralize, does it bring benefit to the lower subordinates or the whole company as a whole? That's the meaning of relationship. And how the decentralization affects the performance of the employees, of the stakeholders, of the staff, of their financial health and other things.
By giving the lower level or mid-level managers make a decision that somehow it will help the organization increase their performance. Okay, next.
Okay, the objective of why we choose this article is to study the performance, and we compare the results of each article. Each article have different type of method, they have different methodology, they have different type of performance measuring. How they measure the performance is different from each article. So now we are able to see how they handle decision making and see their decision making skills of each article. Next.
Okay, the literature review of the first article. As we know, decentralization is a decision that made by mid-level manager or lower level manager rather than centrally made by head of the company. This was agreed by Bashi as 2050. It's a decision where a decision which is taken by considering the view of participating and power of decision making by all levels of employees. Somehow there's an advantage of decentralization, where decentralization give decentralization decision making give chance to the employees to make decisions by their own. This is because the employees
so when you given responsibility, you gain experience. So that's why the top managers give their powers, their authorities, and responsibility to the lower subordinates to take that duty and task to gain experience as well as managing their own local companies.
And somehow the lower level managers basically know what happened in the production line. So by having this centralization decision making, it will improve the company's organization. Somehow there is a disadvantage. There's a lack communication between the managers, where every manager might have their own intention. By somehow, for example, manager more interested in increasing the size of their department instead of increasing and achieve the company's objective.
Okay, this is the findings of the first article. So the organizations are found to be more flexible and responsive towards decentralization. So they respond quickly, they take immediate action after they, as the lower subordinates, they get the power from the top management, they respond quickly and take action immediately. And next, so cooperation, talking about cooperation. So the employees will learn how to cooperate with each other because everyone, you can't work alone. You need to have teamwork. You have to learn to communicate with each other, and you have to learn to bond with each other, and of course generate teamwork. And third point, talking about without the experience, they will be ill prepared when they are promoted into higher level. So when they are exposed to new environment, higher level, higher responsibility, they will sometimes be in more resisting and shocked that they are given that type of responsibility. So they must learn to adapt any type of situation, any given task to manage the company.
Somehow, just now that I said that decentralization might have their own disadvantages, right? So there about the lack of communication. So the problem can be reduced by we clearly defining what is the company strategies and the objective towards all the managers, so that they will understand what is the company and objective to be achieved. Okay, next. Okay, next. Article 2 is by Ilyas and Abdul Latif and K. Muhammad 2016 regarding management control system and performance accountability attributes in local authorities by International Journal of Economics and Financial Issues.
Okay, introduction. Okay, the second article tells us how they evaluate the performance through implementation of management control. So now there's no more decentralization. We're talking about management control system, MCS. Reporting assessment of good measures are included in the management control system. So they press on reliability and validity. So reliability, the company, they use structural methods and computation of their data to make sure that data is more reliable, so they can be in terms of survey, questionnaires, and all sorts. Internal informal control had a significant relationship with the service quality performance.
Okay, this is regarding the KPI for internal control, internal informal control, which is relating to how to increase the individually performance by using KPI, Key Performance Index evaluations.
Next. Okay, this is the objective, to examine the impact of management control towards the company and its performance. And second point, we need to understand that the external had the strong external plays a huge part with the relationship with the performance of the company. So means it brings positive impact to the performance. So the next objective is to discuss good performance management system, and the final one to discuss management control system in the public sector. How does it affect the public sector, so that it will increase the effectiveness of the service given to the public sector.
Okay, now management control. As a general, management control is a system that gathers information to evaluate the performance of different organization resources such as financial and human. So management control is the top management system. They gather all the information that they get from the department to evaluate the performance. So this can be agreed by Code 1999 and Chance 2040, where local authorities should have a good performance measurement system to ensure that the public services could be delivered successfully to the community. And also Ilyas 2016, through the implementations of management control, the services delivered to the public control can be evaluated in order to identify whether its objectives and targets are achieved. This is to ensure, by having management control, we can ensure that the company objective and goals are achieved. So by our visual and to occupy is the high degree of internal control, and low monetary system will have a greater effectiveness of internal control systems.
Okay, methodology. Methodology, it means that how they implement their strategies and what methods they use. So in this article, they use questionnaires as mentioned before. 899 questionnaires were distributed to the public sector so that each people have the right to voice out their opinions, to share ideas, recommendations, suggestions, and all that. And as mentioned before, reliability and validity. So during the assessment, they make sure the data, the result received from questionnaires are reliable. So they implement good strategic measures. And validity of the assessment. The value of the assessment must be very high so that they can validate that the assessment accordingly. Okay, the findings, the result, what we discovered in the article. So this study contributes to the literature concerning the structural linkage among external control, internal controls, and performance within the Malaysian local companies. We talk about external control, internal controls. So how they utilize those controls in their management control system, and it can be by developing hypothesis relationship using the SEM analysis, and also by testing the formal internal control with the performance. And the clarification of the external control regarding the auditing and laws to improve the internal control of the local authorities. So in fact, the mechanisms of the management control systems as accountability attributes to Malaysian local authorities that need to comply in a responsible manner, in a more appropriate manner, in which internal and external criteria defined by stakeholders, customers, and other external personnel, and also to ensure that implementation of appropriate measures, actions, and how these actions are delivered to the public, what medium, what channel do they use to implement those actions towards the public service.
So the third article is about lecturing about organization with changing structure, how to control Pacific accounting review. This article talk about management accounting system as a package within a mid festival that situated in Norway called Festival North. They are examining the manager use of the management control over the time and relations of control to flexibility and decentralized of organization. This article they use decentralized organization to organize, to conduct the Festival North in Norway. Next.
The objective of the third article is that it discusses the relationship between controls of control to flexibility and decentralization of the organizations, and also to deal with constraints such as short development period, short-term investment, and individualization of services and products to the public, and how they manage the scarcity of the resources, because resources is limited in any part of the world. And also this article introduces the elements of time and intensity of the use of these management control systems in the time-dependent scenario.
Okay, as Malmi and Brown 2008 stated that management control as a package and not only viewed as a pure decision-making system, but also as an active instrument in a manager's hand. By having this control, it will help the organization to achieve their goals from multiple areas that come from a various control. And also having a decentralization in a company, in a management control, the objective and goal organization can be achieved successfully. This can be explained by next slide.
Okay, methodology, we have research design. This it involves descriptive case study. They analyze every questions descriptively and from year to year, and they study the behavioral events, and they conduct semi-structural interviews to actors, because actors will perform in the festival. They call it Festival North, which is held every year. Okay, this is the findings. Festival North. So they are having Festival North, which stages more than 200 cultures. But however, after they face financial crisis, they had to settle the debts so that they can move on with the next festival. Okay, now I'll introduce the model of controls. The first one is administrative controls. This involves how you manage human resource. You control the human resource from in to out, and you manage their profile. You analyze their set of skills to ensure that to achieve their goals. Planning control is the first stage of any event, of any festival. So it involves setting your goals and analyzing your strategies, and when, how, and why do you establish a festival. Cybernetic controls is known for financing controls. So, for example, in this article, the company set their budget before establishing the festival. Reward controls includes incentives, compensation. So after the actors perform on the festival, they get reward. That's what reward control. Cultural controls. Every year maybe they set a different theme. Maybe you want Chinese New Year for this festival. So it depends for cultural.
Okay, for a very short one, what I can link about is the first article is more focusing on the decentralization itself, and then the second article is more focusing on management control, and that article is a combination of the first and second article where they use management control for decentralization for having the festival in Norway. So what I can link this, for example, in MSU itself, where they have their own cost center, revenue center, investment center, where this center is they can make their own decision, but the top management control it by in any decision they make, they must get approval from the top management. So as a conclusion, management control for decentralization is somehow is important to ensure that decision made by management from each department are comply with the organization objective and interest as a whole. Thank you.